So what you don't understand is, right, WrestleMania, Cody's lost for the fucking first time since he's been back to WWE. And then there's the rubber chicken.
So when's the
Can't believe
chicken
you didn't
story?
see the rubber chicken.
When does that story end? Does he
I don't
get a
know, he comes
WrestleMania?
back.
Well,
He attacks The
he'll
Rock.
challenge. Hold on, wait a second. What the fuck?
I certainly didn't fucking see that coming.
I don't see what you guys are talking about.
Welcome everybody. It is once again that time of the week again for our favorite podcast, the best podcast you've never seen, Cream of the Crop. I am joined with my lovely friends here. I have Olas to my right, KJ to my left, and we hell of a start back to the podcast, guys. It's we're gonna be here for 4 hours at a minimum.
Oh my god!
This is not a Tony Khan scripted show.
This is part one of an 8-part series of Inside the Ring or Behind the Ring or whatever that show is.
Did we contact YouTube to approve the overrun, or like how did this work?
They gotta run a Tyler Perry movie. Sorry.
Oh god, that's true.
Which Medea is this now?
Medea goes to college.
Medea finishes the story. But it is good to be back. It has been a few weeks, some issues here and there, but we are back. As you can see, fancy new look on a fancy new channel that I finally got together and did because I'm lazy as
I appreciate you.
Olas putting together this lovely scenery for us, and Porto just being here because he's gorgeous.
Hey, I do the thumbnails.
That's true. That's true.
We all play our part.
Yeah, that's true. You know, I pretend that I do things and let you guys fill in the rest.
There's a couple of thumbnails we won't ever see.
Yeah, you know, let's just keep it that way. But it would not be a podcast if we did not start it off as we do every podcast with with a little bit of This Week in Geek. 3 major, not major, but good stories that I found. First one being, if you've lived under a rock for the last 3 weeks, because this game's been out for about a month now.
I'll say 2 weeks.
I think
2 weeks, is it not? Palworld is taking the world by storm. If you're not familiar with what Palworld is, I don't see it now because it is everything and all on my TikTok and YouTube. It is Pokemon meets Ark with guns, I guess is the best. I mean, it's.
I was gonna say it's closer to Ark.
Yeah, I mean it's a Pokemon.
But obviously, it has
monsters.
the Pokemon. Yeah, it has the Pokemon theme to it, and everybody's up in arms about the Pokemon. And it's been
Ark, but instead of dinosaurs, it's just anime monsters.
Yeah.
It's like a cuter Ark. You know, like
Porto or KJ and I have played it. I enjoy it. I think it's fun. I think it's different enough that they won't be in trouble. I feel like
I might get it.
If you do, like I said, we all have the Game Pass version, or me and him have the Game Pass and the Steam version. So whichever you decide.
Yeah, I heard you say you got the Steam version. These guys were trying to convince me to get it too, and I'm looking at it, and I'm like, I could see, because it reminded me. I was watching them like base build, and I was like, oh, it kind of makes me want to play 7 Days again. Like
I will say the base building in it to me is awful. It is infuriating.
It's not as bad as Fallout 4.
That's fair. It takes me 20 years to build a staircase on the side of a house because I have to place everything a certain. And God forbid you have a pal in the way, and then it just throws it all off. But no, it's.
I have to interrupt you for a second because I want to laugh. Remember, like 30 minutes ago, and you told me like a couple of days ago, and you're like, yeah, I'm gonna start cursing less, and then like. It's been like 2 minutes. It's been 2 minutes, and I'm gonna put.
I don't know what you guys are talking about because none of them have gone through. They've just been a bunch of yeahs. Okay, so I don't know what you're talking about. Hey, but it's gonna take you guys. It's gonna take you guys to keep me, you know, because I get passionate, man. And
Hey.
when a country boy gets passionate, we throw one of two things out there, and I'm not going to throw the other one out there.
Okay.
I'm
It's the
only
wrong month
allowed.
for that.
Yeah.
Happy Black History Month, everybody.
Oh Lord. But yeah. So
all that to say, just watch your mouth. All right, like just be done.
can't say that. But Palworld has been doing pretty well. It is from all I've seen, has skyrocketed to the top of Steam's leaderboards as far as consistent player, concurrent. I forget how they track it. Is it concurrent players?
Concurrent
Yeah,
players.
I think concurrent.
Overpassing even I think CS.
Yes.
It looked like, which is a relatively big feat in its own, because CS has as old as the game is, has a pretty lengthy player base. As of yet, Nintendo hasn't really made any.
Oh no, they've made a response.
Have they found? I'd say unless I'd seen, I hadn't seen anything
they said
yet.
They were looking into the situation. They haven't made.
Yeah, but
hey, we're not suing them, but hey, we've heard enough that we're gonna look into this and see what our options are.
I still, because even when you're getting into like piracy law and like copyright law, there's like 5 or 6 statutes they go by to determine if it's like
but this
copyright.
Japan, but
it's true, yeah.
By U.S. law,
that's
this
true.
Would be a Japan law where they are very more like, if this is close enough, go for yourself.
Don't get me wrong. There's absolutely some of the characters that resemble. I still think, because I watched one where kind of went through each character and like who they were supposed to resemble. There's a few of them that are a bit of a stretch.
Yeah.
There are a few that, okay, I can see it. Not exact, but it kind of looks like you threw it in an AI generator and just said, hey, make this Pokemon but different.
Well, that's the other controversy around it, is because I guess the people who created it are very like AI supportive.
Yeah.
People are like throwing a shit fit about that.
I don't understand that.
But there's also I guess there's no evidence of the fact that they used AI. I guess they just said they've supported it in the past, and people were like, "Oh my god, it's terrible."
There was one guy who made a video, quote unquote, exposing Palworld for using the assets from Pokemon game and AI for their pals. But then it later was confirmed by the guy that he upscaled the models to fit.
Right.
And he was basically like, I hate Palworld, so I made this video.
Yeah, which is obnoxious.
What a weird guy.
Yeah.
Like, it was like, you went
I'm
out.
glad you cut this.
Shut up. I hear nothing.
But it's just funny to me that like, and I understand people's like being upset about certain AI things. Like, they've had things about voice acting getting cut because they were using AI voices, and like it clearly sounded AI and not good. Like I get that, and the whole stealing artwork with AI kind of thing. I get that. But like, if you see no evidence of it, well, because we have to react first and then either never admit that we were wrong, or then turn around and be like, I might have overreacted. And it's like, well, why don't you just wait and find out first? Because like, if you sit here and go, well, yeah, they AI'd all of the artwork and they, clearly weren't paying artists to do things and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, you could be upset about that.
Yeah.
I think that's fair, right? Like, you're cutting people out. You're cutting people's livelihood short because you're doing that. Like, yeah, AI can help us with certain things that I just don't think that that's one of them. So it was the big storm of nonsense on Twitter, because it's Twitter and there's always a storm of nonsense and people complaining about things and you can't support it. It's Hogwarts all over again, right?
Yeah.
You can't support it because they did this once upon a time 10 years ago, 20 blah 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 blah, and like you can have your own arguments about all that. Or then you have the opposite, where people support it on purpose because of like the anti this whatever. It's all stupid. It looks like a fun game. That's what it's making me want to play it, which is kind of outside of my norm, because it does look fun. I don't care.
Yeah,
it looks fun.
I think the
go ahead.
the biggest thing, my issue with it, and I think is you have the kind of the two groups of this is it's you have the people that are huge Pokemon fans that go, man, look how easily this B team of a company made a Pokemon game that I would love to play, that if God forbid that Nintendo would just do, would
When they've just
sell.
copying and pasting everything for the last like 20 years.
Yeah, and it's I think you get the two groups of there's the people that are like this because it's hey, we could they could make this and this is what we've asked for, and they've kind of done it, but not well. And then you have the group that kind of, for lack of a better term, will swallow anything Nintendo spews out, for lack of a better phrasing. And they're just you should be less mad that they ripped this off and be more mad that they made it better than the company that made this.
This is the best Pokemon game since the other knockoff Pokemon game when they mod all the other Pokemon games and they're not official launches and they're better than the actual Pokemon
there's people that just mod this stuff that are making better Pokemon games than Nintendo is.
What's the Raven was playing it a while back, the red one.
The super hard version of Red.
Yeah, what's it called? I don't remember.
I don't either. Him and Orange and all them I've seen have played it, but yeah. But even like Porto plays the fusion.
What'd you say it was?
Pokemon Insurgents?
No, it's like something
there's
red.
Too many, there's too many remakes and like fan games. The names kind of all blend together.
But even Porto, you play the fusion one that I think is such a creative, and just the art style that even though like some of them are obviously just stupid, it's still fun.
Because it builds a bigger community off. Hey, we all like Pokemon. We wanted to be something different. So, hey, we made this fan game. And it's like, you can't wait for it to be canceled because Nintendo was like, hey, we don't like because it's not the same thing that we've put out and you'll just continue to buy it.
Wow. Yeah. No, Nintendo's one of those companies, they will always take 2 steps forward and 3 back. You release a console that people love. It is a relatively decent console, although a few issues. All around is a great console with a game market that you have on lock because no one else can make these games. And you have a dedicated fan base where you could make good quality Pokemon, Mario. Like, I've even heard complaints of the new Zelda game that it's just a DLC for Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, but people did that for Miles Morales when that came out for the PS4.
Well, that is a deal.
That was essentially a deal.
For the length of that game, it is absolutely a DLC.
It wasn't a bad game.
No, I just wouldn't have paid full price for that.
Well, it was less expensive than like an actual full game. I think it was like 40 instead of 60 or something like that, or
even
whatever it was, right? Listen, we can bitch about the price
that's true.
all day long, but I mean, at least they had the decency to not charge full brand new price for something that's essentially was too big to be a DLC, so they just made it a separate entity to be like, hey, look at my PS5, like PS5 game and blah blah blah. Like, I get it, it's fine.
Did you find what the Pokemon game was called? I saw you were doing.
No, I was trying to look for it. It starts with an R, and for the life of me, I cannot find it.
Radical Red.
That's what I thought it was, but I thought that was an actual game.
No, it's absolutely Radical Red. Now that you said that it started with an R.
That's definitely a fan game.
Yeah. But
because they have Fire Red as their official remake.
Yeah. Speaking of games that may not be worth what they're charging.
Can't say the first part of that game.
Oh, I guess that's true. Can I not on YouTube? Is that a thing I can't say? Unalive Squad?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Shout out to the squad. We're taking out the Justice League.
Yeah, they're taking out the Justice League.
To dinner.
So
I hate this so much.
Another one, which I don't know about your Ross TikTok, but my TikTok has just been comic book guys either. Once again, one of two polarizing groups, not a lot in the middle. It's either people can't stand this game and it's the worst game they've ever put out and it's awful, every bit of it's terrible, or it's, hey, it's okay, it's not worth $70, but it's fine to play.
Yeah.
from what I see of it, the biggest issue I have is so many people are surprised that the game that has the title Take Out the Justice League is surprised that you're taking out the Justice League. But it's like, come on, man, we didn't even try to hide it. Like it's in the title. Like,
but you wouldn't think like, oh, they're just B-listers. How can they take out the Justice League? But it's whatever.
And they explain it, I think, very well. I think the way they figure out how to do it is how I would have expected. And I'm not going to go into it because it is a new game, so I don't want to spoil it for anybody that intends to play it.
Yeah, but Batman. It's like,
oh my god!
I get no. Fun fact: this is not Kevin Conroy's last performance as Batman.
Yes, he has two others after this one.
Yeah, this is the last performance as Arkham Batman.
Sure. Yeah.
But him as Batman,
because he's going to be in Infinite Crisis.
Yeah, Infinite Crisis Part 2.
Oh, it's 3.
Oh, Part 3.
Yeah.
Okay. Forgot about they're doing 3.
Yeah, it's just weird.
And then you have Batman Cape Crusader.
Yeah, I was trying to think with the other ones.
They did a good job at honoring him.
Here's the thing.
Because I've seen them like, they honored him and they did the little like newscast
the actual tribute
thing. And I was like, oh, that was really well done. Like I thought that was nice. Like, you're still paying tribute to the guy who voiced Batman for like 30
I mean, it's still to this day when I read a comic, it's
been like 30 plus years. I don't remember when the animated series started. It was like early to mid 90s. I think it was like 92, 94-ish. So it would be around 30 years. And it's the iconic voice. It's the voice everybody recognizes.
It's the voice I hear when I read.
Yeah.
Right.
It's just
when you think of Batman, that's the voice you think of. Just like similarly, like if you grew up on the animated series, when you hear the Joker, you think of Mark Hamill.
Like,
that's just where your brain goes. That laugh, when you see the laugh, you think of Mark Hamill's Joker laugh. Like that's, more often than not. I know I did because that's what I grew up on. Like, certain things you just have that voice in your head, and he did it faithfully for not quite 30 years. I mean, he took breaks here and there. But
But still, I mean, I think my biggest aggravation with all this drama is the people that are being offended for Kevin Conn or, for him. He signed off on this. It's not like he didn't know what he was voicing here. He apparently liked the direction they were going with it and accepted that and did the voice for this game. So why are you getting upset for that? Like,
it's people just being upset to be upset.
No. I'll play devil's advocate because I find myself into that side of it more often. The reason why people are so upset, because I see a lot of people on TikTok, why are y'all mad about it? It's just a game. To a lot of people, this is the Batman they grew up with, and this is like his legacy. It's not that they just take him out. It's the manner of which the whole scene like puts into context. It seems like such an average way for him to go out.
I get that.
Even
I don't understand
I don't think people have a problem with the voice line.
Yeah.
I think people just have the concept of the setup of that scene itself just makes it like you don't mention the Joker, you don't mention the legacy that the Arkham games have paved the way for.
Yeah.
I feel like if that was just included.
By the way, if you didn't realize, in this game, it's set in the Arkham game universe.
Even if you said, hey, this is in the Arkham game, everyone would have been fine. Arkham Knight would have been technically the last Arkham game, and everyone would have.
Yeah.
But now that you tied it to the Arkhamverse, and this is the definitive end of the Batman of the Arkhamverse, that's where people got upset.
I inherently understand that.
It wasn't the finale that everyone wanted.
Yeah. And I can get behind that. I'm fine with you being critical of the game of, hey, I don't think this is how this character would have went out. I agree. I wholeheartedly agree. It's more the people that want to be offended for him of like, oh, they're disrespecting him, blah, blah, blah. No, he was okay with this. He signed off on this.
People from Rocksteady had to come out like, hey, Kevin Conroy was here.
Yeah, like it says that it wasn't like he just did voice lines and surprise, like, hey, you're dying, you know, like
They didn't AI his voice in either. Like
Yeah.
he was there, he
It's
knew
just-
what he was doing.
I think
Like,
people fail to forget, like, writing wise, the Arkham games have fallen off since Arkham Knight, and a big part of that is Paul D writing the first two.
Yeah.
He was a big part of the story for Arkham Asylum and Arkham City. Then he left, and then we had Knight, which was Rocksteady saying, "Hey, we have to write our own story," and basically did Under the Red Hood, but said, "Hey, it's not Jason. We promise it's a new character."
Yeah.
And
oops,
lo
it
and
is
behold,
Jason.
yeah, halfway through the game, you're playing out fucking Jason Todd's death, someone who's never been mentioned.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't get what y'all expected writing wise. It's okay, but there is a rumor going around about the context of the Justice League, but I'm gonna leave it for another day.
Yeah, but it's one of those. I'll play the game eventually. I'm probably not gonna pay $70 for it because it just doesn't seem like a $70 game.
yeah, I'll be honest. The game to me, I'm not saying to anybody else that wants to play it or enjoys it. To me, it doesn't look like something I want to play.
Yeah,
it just doesn't.
I'm just not big on the live service thing. Like it's
Avengers.
Yeah, it's and that works super well. You know, doing that. And I say that, but I recently just started Gotham Knights because it hit Game Pass. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna sit down because that game got thrashed.
Yeah,
and I'm playing it, and I kind of like it. It's very Arkham Knight-ish in the fighting style, you know. So who knows? This game will get thrashed and then turn around because they did the same thing with Arkham Origins and Arkham Knight, where you know they were awful. These are the worst games, blah, 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 and now you know everybody loves them, and it's these are part of the greatest gaming series in history. And so really, I remember you guys all hating this game and despising this game, and I thought they were good. Like, yeah, Arkham Knight is a little on the nose, but it was still a good game.
Yeah,
but
still a tank.
Yeah, I mean,
they brought the tank back in Suicide Squad.
Yeah,
in the squad game.
I have issues and like I said, I haven't purchased it, so I know that was one of the big crybaby things on TikTok was that you can't complain if you haven't purchased the game, and I hate that mentality too. I don't like the direction they went with it. I think you could have done. I say you could have done a better direction with it had you made it a Gotham Knights game and done the Bat Family. I think that'd have been I would have 100%. I'd have bought it day one.
But there are the rumors of what they wanted to do with the Arkham series. Years ago.
Yeah.
With Damian being the Batman.
Yeah, I mean, I would have loved a Batman Beyond Arkham style.
That was basically what they were doing. It was Batman Beyond, but instead of Terry McGinnis, it's Damian Wayne.
Yeah, I mean, I'd have been fine with that. I'd have if you had made Gotham Knights a bit more like, you know, an Arkham Knight style in the Arkham universe, that'd have been good. Hell, I'd have took a Justice League game, you know, and just make it a better version of Avengers that's maybe not live service and all worried about cosmetics. But it is what it is. This is the game we have. If you don't like it, don't play it. But don't sit there and cry that they disrespected Kevin Conroy. He chose to be in this game. He knew what he signed up for. And, you know, you don't need to be a martyr for this man. You know, like his legacy doesn't need your help. I guess that's my biggest thing is just.
Well, listen, I'll see you guys on DC Universe Online. I can't wait to play with you guys.
They really tried with that one, didn't they? They really tried.
And listen, I played the hell out of that game.
The World of Warcraft of the DC universe.
It wasn't bad. Especially for a free game.
That's true. That's true.
It really wasn't bad. But it was, you know, it was a PS3 game.
Yeah.
Xbox 360, like, you know, and then it got a PS4 like
port
ability, and then at that point I didn't play it, but it, you know,
well, it turned me off. It was like a 60 gigabyte game. It's like Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I mean, it was a hefty game.
Yeah,
it really wasn't that bad.
I did like the cinematics for it. I will say that every cinematic I saw
for it, the opening cinematic for it was amazing.
Yeah. They put that much effort into just the game.
Wow, yeah, that's
not specifically that one, just like any.
But that seems to be the theme of the two stories we just had. Like, if you put some effort into these games, like, you would be surprised at how much
it's almost
more
like
positive things would be received.
It's almost like if you cared more about the game being good than you did the cosmetics and transactions in the game,
right,
the game might be successful. It's a novel concept. But it could happen.
So here's to hoping.
Yeah. And our last story is
Where hope died.
Yeah. More of a wrestling story here. And this has been everywhere, so I'm sure if you're watching this and you're big in the wrestling part of this, you've seen this. There is some WWE legal trouble. Well, I shouldn't say WWE. There's some Vince McMahon and John Laurinaitis.
There's some potentially WWE.
Is it? Okay.
No, WWE is part of the lawsuit as well.
Gotcha. Okay, see, I thought it was just... And this, they'll probably comment on this a little bit more because I just kind of know the gist of this. Where I know KJ kind of knows a bit more about this, and I think Olas does too. But the cut and dry part of it,
get into the nitty gritty of it. But.
Yes,
I don't think we need to.
The cut and dry is Vince and WWE and John Laurinaitis and a few superstars were caught in a bit of a how would you phrase it? Sex scandal.
Yeah.
Now, here's the thing. We're gonna say, we knew that there were some things that had happened which caused him to be booted originally.
Yeah.
But now we're getting actual like details and text messages and different things and
NDAs,
SA allegations and things. Like, it wasn't just like
right.
It wasn't just paying people that you were sleeping with and giving them jobs kind of thing. Like, it turned into more than that. I do think it's really shitty that girl's picture got out there. That guy leaked her photo.
That's
because then all the outlets posted it too, and I'm like, guys, what? Like, clearly she didn't want that out there.
Yeah.
And whoever leaked it, I forgot the guy's name, but I saw like somebody was the initial person that leaked her name, her photo. It's just a scummy, terrible thing to do, especially given what she has, again, allegedly gone through. Like, we can't speak to the facts of everything because that's not our job.
Yeah.
But like, that's terrible. And then, all the media news outlets are posting her photo and all this. It's just not great.
But
so
now
hopefully
this might open the doors for more litigation.
Sure,
because,
true.
The lawyer representing the lady has gone on record to say there have been more people reaching out to them about them. So we might have more names attached.
Yeah, I mean, this one
lawsuits opening up.
Just takes one person to kind of open the floodgates on this one. I mean,
and then, but this, I think the best part of this we'll see, because it's starting to show now, with John Laurinaitis being one of the key names brought up of partaking in these acts with events, basically throwing Vince on us now.
Yeah. Yep.
Basically saying he's a victim, which is
sounds about right.
I don't
the crazy thing to say.
You can swear. I'll just bleep it. It's fine.
Insane. Nah, because I don't want to give you the time to edit. It is insane that some of these instances he wasn't there. You are a grown man.
Yeah.
You can always say, well, power dynamic, but you could have easily lied and said, hey, we did stuff, cool, and kept it moving. You partaked in some of the trauma that this woman endured, allegedly. Protect myself right there. If it comes out that is true, meanwhile you are married. Let's not forget that key point of that. She has cancer. Um,
God damn, dude.
yeah, cool. You deserve everything that's coming to you just as much. At
Yep.
first, when the allegations came out against Vince, you were the scapegoat. Now it turns out you might be just as big a piece of shit as I thought you
Yeah.
were. Because
Yep.
this brung up the conversation back when Athena, formerly known as Ember Moon, did her was it the Jericho podcast or was it just a podcast?
I don't. It might have been Jericho, but I don't
It
fully
seems like it
remember.
would, where she talks about how when he got rehired, when Vince came back, there was a new mandate of all of them had to dress sexy because Mandy Rose was in. It's like then Tori Wilson recently came out with a story about having to perform in a bikini at a house show, where she found that to be degrading.
Didn't
Ron,
Maria have something like years and years ago when she originally left the company? She had something. I don't remember exactly what it was, but there was not quite allegations, but like she had said some things like indirectly that like implicated things. I don't remember exactly what it was.
I know what you,
If, yeah.
but
So
there's a long list of women in WWE that might have something to say. Ronda Rousey recently came out and talked about how if Bruce Pritchard is still part of the WWE, Vince is still part of the WWE. If
Hmm.
there's anyone that needs to get investigated with this, Bruce Pritchard
Yeah.
actually is one of those people. Bruce Pritchard, Kevin Dunn, who recently just stepped down, um, even Paul Levesque. I get that people want to see him as like the greatest booker that he's taken over, but that is his son. And
This is right hand.
as long,
oh
yeah,
most
given the fact that he kicked him out, I don't think they were.
Well,
well, yeah, because
at one point,
if you
Yeah,
remember Triple H got the Stonewall treatment for a while and they took
yeah,
everything away from him. And then when he came back and they were outing him, he did vote to not bring him back.
yeah,
So between him, Stephanie, and Nick Khan, the three of them all decided they didn't want him back, and then he forced his way back in
yeah,
to power and all that.
but
Stuff. Like
again,
it was a whole mess.
yeah.
Um,
So, but again, you have to like stepping outside. Like at this point, how because it does show that former superstars were also part of it. He was showing these text messages and these images of her to wrestle.
yeah. You got to wonder
So
how
then
deep this goes.
now you have to look at how long has he possibly been doing this, because he's had allegations of harassment since the 90s,
Yeah.
if not further,
yeah, I mean
No,
the
I mean,
earliest I remember was like early 90s,
or 80s, because
1990, 1991.
the female referee who claimed she was assaulted.
That might have been late 80s, maybe late
Yeah.
80s, early 90s, somewhere in that range. I think it's
So
in the same general range.
so we might have to look at how we see these guys later in life now as
yeah.
like different.
Well,
Because here's
especially because you
another
have
thing,
what
like
Jericho just went through his stuff with his
yeah,
issues, and now it's like
um,
okay, like
and it turned out just to be a vendetta that one guy had against,
it's
which is
true.
kind of
Well,
Drew.
the other thing, well, I will say this. I mean, they were like, "Oh, he walked back the statement." He didn't quite walk it
Walk
back.
it back, but he did say it came
He,
out of place.
yeah, he did essentially say that he did it for the wrong reasons.
Yeah,
So it's not that it's not true. It's just that he did it
it makes both of them look like assholes, and that
right.
gives further leverage to Jericho to discredit him.
Yeah.
Correct. Which is
Where
what he will do if
exactly,
he hasn't already, and the fans are already doing that.
Oh yeah, they're on their
Um,
cruise right now.
yeah,
yeah.
they should,
So, um,
but yeah, no, this because when I first heard about it, like when it involved wrestlers, the first thought in my mind, what wrestlers are close enough to Vince that they will be okay with that and see and not see it out? And one of the first people that came to mind is
Yeah.
he's one of those guys that is very loyal and close
I didn't hear the name you said.
to
I'm gonna be
Undertaker.
honest.
Might
Oh, okay, yeah,
might move your mic a little closer.
yeah.
Uh,
You like you cut out a little bit to where I know what you're saying, and then when you said the name specifically, I didn't even hear like a glimpse of it, and I went, "Oh shit, I don't know what you just said." Sorry.
I
Like,
was leaning back. Sorry.
no, you're good.
No, I mean, and it's, I mean, you gotta think
Flair,
Undertaker,
Hogan.
Flair, Kane, Shawn, Brett. Well, maybe not Brett.
Brett and the thing is, because Shawn Michaels got roped into it as well, because there was an interview from a few years ago with the what is his name, Beefcake?
Brutus the Barber
Brutus.
Beefcake.
Yeah, where he talked about Shawn the Rockers H bombing women.
And then throwing him back in the lobby, the
Yeah.
hallway or whatever. But then he walked that back too.
Exactly. But then Alondra Blaze shared a story where she talked about like, I wonder what what was it, Reborn Christian back then was drugging women and throwing them outside their lobbies, like basically confirming his story.
Yeah.
Potentially, yeah. I mean, the only other person that like absolutely confirmed it was Marty Jannetty, who we all know is not a reliable source of
What do you mean?
even
Who's
Marty
having
Jannetty stories. Yeah,
Yeah.
like
Marty Jannetty's having a rough week.
Yeah.
He lost.
did he
He
kill
might.
another guy or like?
No, he's losing. I think he's losing a leg, and his sister died.
Jesus. All right. Well, that's terrible.
God damn it,
See,
Owens.
yeah, like
Didn't even get a moment. Just straight went, heard the bell, and just went for the haymaker. Just
yeah, you know, sometimes you see your opportunity and you got to take it.
yeah,
Can't
but I
stand
mean,
the
you gotta
PTO.
wonder who can wipe their hands clean of this, and who's who's gonna be the next name on this lawsuit, and
It's gonna be a shotgun effect. It's gonna be a lot of people naming names at the beginning of this. Once it once more people get involved, it's gonna be not a lot of name throwing.
yeah.
All right, now you guys say this, and I'll say this in retort. Right? It's been a really big week for WWE, and I want to focus on the positives.
Yeah, just put on
I
a
mean, in
funny
all
hat
fairness,
and
though, what was
blast.
he gonna say to that?
No,
Like,
I mean there were so many things he could have
Cody
said
had a
without
better
saying
response.
anything. I understand he's in a rough spot. He's in a bad predicament because, you know, obviously you can't say anything like you can't denounce him completely until it's proven because then you're liable for lawsuits
have to
at
run that
point too.
back, and then
Yeah.
Right. So like you can, because then he can sue for defamation if you're like, yeah, what a piece of shit he is, blah
Yeah.
blah blah blah. Like you can't say that, right? But
No,
you have to say something while saying nothing, right?
Yeah,
Like, hey, listen, you know, I just want to get this out there before we start. Like, you know, I can't speak on anything legal regarding this. Like, if this is true, if
Yeah.
these allegations are true, like, you know, we completely denounce that. If that's the case, like, we don't want this kind of thing to, you know, whatever, however you put it. But him to be like, he started it when he started the response. I was like, okay, yeah, he's gonna, you know, I'm gonna say what you expect me to say, and then he didn't really say
anything
in the response of like, hey, you know, I'm not legally allowed to speak on this, like.
But I think what pissed everyone off is the fact that he said, "Oh, I didn't even read it. I don't know that much about it." It's like, this is
Well,
your
because then he did say
father-in-law.
like it came out in real like we were
reading about it.
We were
while you
finding
all
out
read
about it while you were finding out about it. And I was
Yeah.
like, I don't know if that's true. It's possible it is because he's not on the board, I guess, right? Like he's not technically
he's
a
not
board
on the
member.
board.
He's just head of creative for WWE. Like
Yep.
people forget that. He's not actually like the COO or CEO anymore. Like he's just in the head of the product in that sense.
Yeah.
You know, and with it being Rumble weekend, it is very possible that like this just happened 2 days before the Rumble, and he had to like, you know, we got SmackDown and the Rumble coming up in the next 2 days. Like, I'm planning that. Sure.
And even then, there might be speculations of the stuff that's going on. You never truly know, like, unless you're in it, you never truly know what is going on behind some of these closed doors. And not to say that it excuses anything. Like, you should always, but that situation, he wasn't going to say the right thing no matter how he phrased it.
Well, it's the same. It's the same thing as Tony when Tony addressed the possible Jericho things, and they didn't they didn't mention him by name when they did ask him the question, but obviously it wasn't a great look when he had the wig and the glasses on and he's, this is the safest place and blah blah. Like it wasn't a great look, and
Yeah.
obviously he couldn't answer either because if there is possible NDAs and possible legal things, like what is he supposed to say? You know what I
It
mean?
should
Like
have
he
been.
can't. So it's the same. Neither of them. It's not. It's fair to ask in the sense like you have to do your part as a journalist
Yeah.
to ask these questions, but you also have to understand that they can't answer these questions. Like if you were hoping that they were going to actually answer these questions, you're getting your hopes up because there's no shot that they're going to be legally allowed
Well, anybody with
to
sense would answer these questions.
right.
No,
So,
but there was a simple like non-answer answer that would have just settled. Hey, we've heard it same way y'all have. This is a shock and big story for us. We are we are looking into this we are investigating on our side, and we fully cooperate with any legal proceedings.
Right.
That's it.
yeah.
That would have and dead it right there.
No,
We're
I'm
doing
not
our
saying
part, and
they
we can
couldn't
no
answered
longer
it
talk about
better.
that.
Yeah, if he would have got ahead of it. Same thing.
Yeah.
I think Tony should have done the same thing, right?
Yeah.
Like, hey,
Yeah. Oh
listen,
yeah.
we've heard the rumblings. Like before we start asking questions and everything, I just want everybody to understand I am not legally allowed to speak on any of this stuff,
Yeah.
We're looking into it. We're trying to figure things out just as much as you guys are. I understand you have tons of questions, but at this point we are not allowed to speak on it.
Yeah. Just like
I appreciate your
Brawl
guys'
Out.
understanding in that. Blah blah blah. Let's move forward.
Like just like Brawl Out, we have our own independent team investigating the matter, and you will know. We will allow you to know when the investigation's over.
Yeah. No, like I said, I'm not saying that he was perfect in it.
Yeah.
He could have done it better, but I think once again, it's kind of a lose-lose. There'd have been stones cast no matter how he answered it, and
I think it just made it worse because Cody was asked for his answer came off better.
yeah,
His answer came off like the better choice, and it shouldn't be the superstar's job to have a better PR answer than the guy running the ship.
yeah.
In the eyes of the wrestling.
No, you're not entirely true.
I mean, it is what it is at this point.
But
can only do so much.
Let's get off this somber talk and talk about the positives. Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
Well, somewhat positive. Still some
I mean,
still some negativity in this one too, but
well, later down the line, they didn't know.
You know what? I'm gonna be positive about the Royal.
Yeah.
I don't care what anybody says. I think the women's match was awesome. I mean, it was, the actual in-ring stuff was a little spotty at times. You had
mainly the beginning of it.
Yeah, I mean, you had, Maxine, right? Maxine?
Yeah.
Dupree.
Dupree.
Great character, but obviously she's still pretty green.
Green shit.
And it
so
showed.
It is what it is.
It showed real bad.
It's Rumble matches. People forget, like, Rumble matches are hard because, like, you might have something planned and then, like, somebody else comes in and, like, does something and kind of throws off the timing and different things. It is what it is. I'm not, oh, it's a 5-star match, but nobody cares.
Tokyo,
right? But it had a lot of fun moments. Naomi coming back at number 2 was awesome.
Yeah, was very psyched about that.
Jordan Grace was awesome.
Yep.
I was really pumped that they did that. Tiffany Stratton getting in there, Roxanne Perez getting in there. Obviously Jade Cargill getting in there was awesome. She had a great showing.
Great showing without making her look, with her obviously not winning it, but still making her look good.
They still made her look like a beast. She picked up Nia, flexed, like that was awesome.
Liv Morgan, making her
Liv Morgan
return.
came back. Yeah, that was awesome too. And they had that really good shot at the end of it where all the girls were like leaning against the barricade, like all the ones that got eliminated.
Yeah.
Looking at
when Bailey was celebrating, and I was like, that was an awesome shot. Like they did that really well.
They're really good at getting loser shots.
I will say that the change in production quality since Kevin Dunn is gone, these guys have stepped it up.
Yeah.
They're doing those like little graphics before like commercials or whatever, like coming up next, and it's like a thing with Cody or Punk, and it's like the logo with the picture of them, and then it slides into like the real time of them walking in the hall or whatever. I'm like, this
They've
is
done it with
amazing.
LA,
Like, this is
LA
so much
Knight,
better of a
Tiffany
presentation than
Stratton.
it's been.
Yeah.
What was that?
Because they've done it also with LA Knight, Tiffany Stratton.
Right.
'Cause
And that's what I
they've had
mean. Like they've been doing it a lot recently, and you can tell like they've definitely put in the effort. Like whoever's doing it now is stepped up and was like, yeah, the hell with this guy. We're gonna make this look legit. Like we're gonna do this. It's time to get with the times. We're gonna stop with these like outdated ideas and stupid things. You know, can't can't put a belt on somebody because they have an accent. Like stupid stuff. Like
Yeah.
we're definitely moving past that, and it shows. They've had a lot of really great shots. Uh, Camera work. I mean, they've had some weird camera shots. Like I've always thought that they have like cameras in different weird spots and different things, but for the most part, it's looked really good.
Yeah.
They started doing what AEW's doing, with the camera on the turnbuckle.
Yeah, I don't always love that. Depending
Yeah.
on the shot, I think sometimes it works out and sometimes it just looks rough. What match was it? Was it the
Sam versus Drew.
Yeah, and it looked a little off. Like it just didn't
I feel like
it
it looked
wasn't the
off.
right shot for it at the
Yeah.
It
time.
wasn't. Yeah, it was the right. It wasn't the right move to set
Yeah.
up for that camera. But given the fact, I give them the pass because hey, we're trying this, so we don't know exactly what spot
Yeah.
to
No,
switch this
that's
camera for. So
I'm not knocking them for trying something different. I just think, they need to tinker it out a little bit and try and play with some different things, and I think they'll get it right eventually because so far from what I've seen, I already like the improvement. Like you can tell there's a clear improvement, there's a clear like we're going to make this look better than what it has been, which
Yeah.
is already a step in the right direction.
yeah.
Yeah. No,
So
I mean,
thoughts on the women's rumble match, since that's where we started with before we
I think overall it was like I said, we had the benefit. We don't get to do this very often, but we all got to kind of watch it together and kind of comment on it as we were going through. But
I enjoyed that, by the way.
Yeah, it was really nice. It was a good time.
Even though the recording.
Yeah, it's that's on me. There's always next year.
That happens. Whatever.
I was super excited about the Jordan coming over from TNA. That was really cool. I love when that hit because I think that was shortly before you got in.
Yeah.
I go to Porter. I go, what are the fucking letters on that belt? That doesn't look right. And then they're like, oh shit, this is TNA, and that was super cool. I do love all the memes I've seen of that where they go AEW and TNA and it's them getting whooped by the Bullet Club or whatever side, not Bullet Club, but Kenny Omega and them, and then it's like WWE's relationship with TNA and it's her coming into the Rumble. It's like, oh, that's kind of fair.
I think it's awesome that they're working together.
Yeah.
I'm intrigued to see like what the rest of it looks like because they've posted like numerous times, which for TNA, of course you are.
Yeah.
Right? Your women's champion just got a big showing at
one of the bigger pay-per-views.
Right. It's it's like the step below WrestleMania by like a small margin. It's not like she showed up at like Elimination Chamber. She didn't show up at like TLC. She showed up at the Royal Rumble and looked good in the process. Like she got eliminated by Bianca, who was champion for a year straight. Like it's not like she just got eliminated by like Maxine Dupree or something like that. She got eliminated by a legitimate champ who could have potentially won the match.
No, I was very pleased with it. My only complaint, and this isn't really the women's, like, not anything that was wrong with the women's rumble, but I'm getting kind of tired of the rumbles where it's the first or second competitor seems to consistently be the one that wins it,
or like one of the last.
Yeah, like it's like that's cool every now and then, but like it's almost getting to a point that like we just expect it now.
Well, because Bailey was what, number 3?
Yeah.
Rhea won from number 1 last year. Gunther was number 1 last year and made it to the final 2. Who was in the final? Well, it was Punk and Cody, and neither of them were like number 1 one. So at least that was
I
for
just
the men's match.
I'm totally about Bailey winning. I'm cool. Like we all kind of expected that, even though I joked
Called
that
it.
Nia was my pick. I really meant Bailey, but
Whatever you say. Try to clean that one up.
Yeah, there's no recording of it, so jokes on you.
I mean, I have it in text form. I'll just put it out there because, like, I literally asked you guys to give me your predictions before that.
And I was right.
Yeah. No, I thought it did well. Like I said, it was a few rough. What's funny is with the rough spots being there was a few of them that were not just green talent. It was some of the veterans, quote unquote, that were not to hit Slammer, but I mean Bianca had a few moments where it's like the timing just wasn't there,
Yeah.
And like you said, it's a rumble that happens. It just it happened, but they were able to move on from it, and it didn't just railroad the entire rest of the rumble. So that was good. Jade put on a good show. I was excited about that. Like you said, Naomi I thought she did really well, and was good to see her back. I was disappointed not to see Sasha, but it can't always be the way I want it. And
it's gonna be entrant 31, right?
Yeah. It's over. No, she's coming out. It's
31 is Santina Morella.
Oh my god, no, it's Santina.
Morella.
No, I said Santina.
Oh, I thought you said Santina.
I also heard Santina. Yeah. I would say although it was good to see Liv come back, I don't really remember much of her in that Rumble other than her eliminating Jade.
Well, she was number 30. So
yeah, so I mean, there wasn't. Yeah, and that's true.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So much like Sammy, they saved a returning from injury spot from 30. Oh, so underwhelming. But like, okay.
Yeah.
We got Liv Morgan back. We got Sami Zayn back. I'm cool with that. You know what I mean? Like, it's not anything crazy. Hi.
Hi.
I was wondering how long it's gonna take for you to realize that this camera is on, and you're just walking in the frame.
There's the number 30 entrant.
Yeah, that's number 31 right there.
It's okay. It's fine. I'm good at editing. No, I'm not.
No, you're okay. You're okay. You'll be all right. It's nice to meet you.
Yeah.
She can't hear you.
I know. It's more funny that way.
I cut off at a perfect point. There was
I definitely have an idea.
Yeah.
For when I do this tomorrow.
Oh man.
Oh, that was great, Portal. Thank you for that.
No problem.
No, I would say from the Rumble in general, the two Rumbles were fine. I just and I voiced this when we watched. I just had issues with the two matches in between.
I think the women's match is better though.
So here's what I'll say. The men's match suffered from predictability.
Yeah.
Because we all knew for the most part who was gonna win, and
at
if
least
he
the final
didn't win,
two.
we figured Punk was probably gonna win. Nobody expected Bobby or Sami Zayn or like Jay or Jimmy. Like nobody really thought those guys were gonna win. We all kind of knew who was gonna win. The thing I'll play devil's advocate for. I like that they had no big like legend
Surprise.
returning or blah blah blah. Like it would have been cool to have a surprise. It would have been cool to have a TNA guy come over. It would have been cool to, you know what I mean? Like just something. For I guess whatever happened with the whole Brock stuff, and Braun Breaker apparently took his spot.
Did a great job. I feel like
Fun fact: Braun was only in there for 5 minutes.
Right, and looked fantastic the whole time.
Yeah, got the most eliminations in the match.
Yeah.
Only there for 5 minutes.
The way he picks up speed when he runs those rows is amazing, right? Like he looks fantastic. He does Goldberg spots better than Goldberg could ever do them.
Because he's
that
actually
like
athletic.
choke body press into the spine buster spear looking kind of thing that Goldberg used to do is done way better by Braun Breaker. I have been nothing but impressed by him since I've seen him. So I was happy that he got in there. Mello was in there, right? I'm trying to think.
Yes.
Was there anybody else from NXT that was in there?
I think it was just
Braun, Mello. Yeah, I think it was just them two.
Because most of the guys that are in here are from Raw or
Right, and so that's the other thing too, right? Like, so we didn't get a returning legend who can't really
Wrestle.
work,
yeah,
or
but
like
I'm still hoping Hogan. I'm still hoping Hogan.
Nah,
just because he made the comment, you know.
Yeah, well, that too. With
maybe I got one more in me. Which
No,
and say what you want. Say what you want about Hogan. I know he has a bit of a history.
This isn't the month for this.
I'd have fanboyed. I'm gonna be honest. I'd have fanboyed.
Hey, I was never a Hulk Hogan fan.
It's okay. He wasn't a fan of you either.
Oh God. Oh
yeah.
God.
Happy Black History Month.
Oh God.
Oh man.
Shout out Kofi.
Yeah. For no reason, but he deserves it.
Oh, that was the other disappointing. No Kofi spot.
I
get it, but it's still I look forward to it.
There was no spot even in the women's match. No, actually wrong. 2 spots. Tiffany
the Kyrie,
Kyrie was the bigger one. Kyrie
the memes for that, the Spider-Man memes were amazing.
But the spot I think of was supposed to be like the big Kofi type spot is Tiffany holding on to
Bianca's hair.
Yeah. I love that. That was really fun.
And then still getting eliminated.
Yeah.
It was Jade who eliminated both.
I think so.
Believe so.
By just hitting Bianca in the stomach, so they both fall over.
Or it might not have been Jade because they were really smart to keep Bianca and Jade apart.
Yeah,
like they teased them kind of coming together, and then they did the thing where it's like, they're gonna meet, and then like everybody kind of swarms them and jumps them from the other way.
Away from everybody
except Becky.
They have interactions, but it's never like full on like.
Yeah, they didn't really like wrestle or anything.
Didn't she eliminate Becky though? I thought she eliminated
Becky and Naomi at the same time.
Gotcha.
She eliminated Becky by having Naomi essentially like 619er by accident kind of thing. Yeah.
Which was a good spot. I did like that. I thought that
was a cool spot. I liked that spot.
And then eliminated Naomi right after.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. The men's to me did suffer from that predictability.
Yeah.
The way they'd set up, we knew it was either going to be Punk or Rhodes, and we were 90% sure it was going to be Rhodes.
The other problem too is, and I can attest to this, and not because of I was bored, I was exhausted, right? So like I'm nodding off at the end of that match.
Yeah.
And not because it's like, oh, they're so boring, they're not putting on a 7-star match and da da da. It wasn't about that. I mean, it was a long show. I had a long day personally. Like I worked all day. I came home and we hopped in. Like you guys had already started. I had been watching on my phone until I got home to join you guys. Like I was exhausted. So like I wasn't as into it. It was what was it, 4-hour show?
Was longer than I thought it was gonna be.
Yeah. It didn't need to be. The thing I hate now about these pay-per-views is because they do so much advertising in between things. I think between the women's rumble and was it the Roman match after? Like the 4-way was after? There was like 20 minutes of shit in between the 2 matches. And I'm like, guys, I'm fine with taking a 5-minute breather to like let that sink in and then go to the match so that you're not just like, oh my God, the match is over. Now Roman comes out. I get that. But for 20 minutes and then 15 minutes in between that and the Logan and KO match, and that, like, it's just a lot, man.
Not to mention Roman's 20-minute entrance.
Randy's 20-minute entrance.
Yeah.
Like, at least AJ and LA Knight were quicker about it.
Yeah.
We got to show the camera pan to a bunch of people holding Slim Jims, not really eating them, but just having them there. They're just
and that was weird too. Like, the little commercial of him before he had his entrance, but whatever, right? That took all of 10 seconds before the entrance. Fine. But yeah, it's a lot. Like you could have made that a 3 hour show. You had the women's match go for I think about an hour, right? Somewhere
in there. I think it was
Yeah.
like an hour 5. Yeah.
hour
Apparently
and
the
10 minutes or whatever.
apparently the women's match overran.
It felt that way a little bit. It felt like that
Um,
went a little longer.
I mean,
Because
it didn't need to. I mean, it kind of needed to if they were gonna go for 4 hours.
yeah, but the only reason I say it overran because not Becky. Bailey was not supposed to beat Rhea's record for Iron
Ah,
Woman.
yeah,
But because it ran long, Becky technically beat Rhea's
Bailey.
record. Bailey, sorry.
Yeah.
It's too many B's, man. Bianca, Becky, Bailey.
Too many damn bees.
No, like it was just you could have made that a 3 hour show. Had the two matches in the second hour. Had some stuff in between.
Funniest moment of the night. I love the R-Truth bit and the women's.
He was the MVP of that show.
Him
Getting the hot tag in the men's match.
Oh God, yeah.
Like that was great. Coming out and going,
Where's the guys?
yeah,
Where's
telling
all
me
the
these are all
guys at?
women.
He did come out at the right number though.
Yes, he did.
Sure.
He came out at 24 both times. I thought that was great. So
Yeah.
he definitely made that more fun. And they had some stuff in there. They had some fun stuff in there. The Pat McAfee spot was wasted, but all right, it was a nice little break of haha, he's gonna get in there, and then two behemoths are in there. And he's like, yeah, the hell with that, I'm out. I do love that Omos took so long to get into the ring that like 12 seconds later the next entrant was ready to come out, and it was like, oh, okay.
I can't see shit out of this hood.
Yeah.
God.
Insert Chris Jericho as a Klansman.
Oh man.
Just trying your best, aren't you? Just to send this
What?
podcast
You
straight
said that,
to.
and that's the first thing that come to mind.
Oh Lord.
You're gonna edit that in.
I'm
Right
not.
over-
I'm
right over my
absolutely.
face.
I can go ahead and confirm not doing that.
You should though.
But when it comes to men, but this is the thing. In hindsight, hopefully this doesn't. Well, hopefully
Well,
they course correct.
you and I spoke for a solid like 40 minutes before Onyx jumped in the call, and we did talk at length about I'm feeling like and absolutely hoping that there is some misdirection with what they're doing.
Yeah.
I can't imagine that they knowingly let him win, point to the WrestleMania sign, point to Roman, and then Punk getting injured and having the Seth promo about him trying to pitch Cody on doing that, I think was potentially emotion regardless whether Punk got hurt or not. And then Cody would have turned him down. And, this is all like hindsight booking of like, let's say Punk didn't get hurt. I still think they have Seth go, Cody, you should want to face me. We should have the main event, blah, 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 blah. He still throws the dig at Roman and the Hollywood title and the Hogan title and the politicking title, whatever, right? And have all of that. But there's no way that they let him do all of that, build it up, and then he goes, I want to finish the story, but not at WrestleMania. And it's like, all right, well, when the hell do you want to finish the story? I'm confused.
Yeah.
I'm moving my own goalpost. Why? Then why did you point to him at Wrestle? Like that? None of that makes sense. So there's got to be a misdirection in there somewhere.
With that being said, it makes it seem like you buried the Royal Rumble on top of everything else that
Right.
got buried in just one segment. In one segment, you've intentionally buried your Royal Rumble, your Royal Rumble winner twice, the World Heavyweight Champion, the belt itself, and the WWE Champion.
I do have to say, and I said it to you, but Roman's promo was phenomenal. I know it's like, oh man, he buried Seth. I love the fact that he did my little brother Seth Rollins and then gave it a second and went, exactly, no pop. That had me dying.
Because it is a perfect it's a perfect promo. And it hits well because what he's saying is true.
Yeah. Right.
but you don't need to point that out.
No,
You shouldn't need to point that out on
the
television.
losers bracket title being,
Yeah.
like that's rough. I mean, Rollins calling it the Hulk Hogan title and throwing the dig at Hogan and the politicking title, like it's a dig. It might have been a little far, but him calling the world heavyweight title when everybody's already like, oh, it's the consolation prize, and he's like, it's the losers bracket title, and I'm like,
Yeah.
he's not wrong, like because that is the optics of it, right? Like he beat all of the people that were vying for that title, so like,
Because what really
how do you
cheapens that,
argue?
like,
Well, he
what
didn't
really,
beat Seth technically, but
yeah. But if you think about it, even worse, like if you compare both promos, it makes Seth come off as disingenuous because you can bring up Hogan, Andre, people who politic for the belt. But you know who else has held that belt? Bret Hart. Seth Rollins has held that belt
yeah,
because technically it's the WWE Championship now. It follows the
yeah,
lineage of that belt.
I
Randy
do.
Orton, John Cena,
I do
they
think the gold belt should continue the lineage
of the
of
world
the
heavyweight.
world heavyweight / big gold. I just think it
It
should.
no, it does. I
It
think
does, but they don't
acknowledge it.
technically acknowledge it because they're still treating it like,
A
well, they're
new
not
belt.
they're treating it like a new belt, but also not because it's clearly the world heavyweight title.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think they should, to make it seem legit again, they really need to like play off of the legacy like they do with what Roman's doing. They really need to play into that legacy of like,
but you
See,
if
I've
you
lost
again
track of what belts are called what at this point because we've
the
just gone.
universal the one Roman
Was
has
the
is
undisputed Universal
no, it's not
Champion?
even. I think they're ditching the undisputed thing.
Have they?
It's the WWE Universal Championship,
Okay, so that
but it
inherently would be
follows
the
the lineage.
WWE Championship.
it's the
Yeah,
WWE Championship.
exactly. It follows that lineage. So it goes Roman, Brock,
Seth.
no Big E.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
I'm
that's
saying
right.
lineage wise, it goes to
Yeah,
that.
you
It should follow the WWE Championship lineage.
gotcha,
Bobby.
Yeah,
Bobby.
then Lesnar and
Man, there's a
Roman.
real
Yeah, there's a lot of that history that kind
wow.
of gets.
I always see the memes, but I guess I've never really like
Oh,
looked at
about
it.
how
Oh, Brock
Brock
beating the
is.
black guy for the title
Yeah, you
again?
know.
Yeah, weird.
That's
God damn.
happened 3 times. Like the fact that it's happened 3 times.
Yeah, I've always
Crazy.
heard the joke. I just never actually like looked at
Oh
it
no,
on
I
paper.
thought about it.
Like,
Wait,
oh,
so is the only non-black person he beat for a title Goldberg?
Seth.
Seth.
Did he
No,
beat Seth for a title? He didn't beat Seth for a
I
title.
thought he
Universal.
did.
Universal.
Yeah.
Not WWE.
Oh,
I thought he got that from Goldberg.
He definitely beat Seth for it. He was Money in the Bank holder.
Yeah.
Remember Brock Party?
Yeah.
Oh my god, I remember.
Sorry.
Oh, so the Puerto Rican guy. All right, great.
Yeah. But
Jesus.
Jesus.
Fucking Brock, man.
But yeah, no. Even if you think about the World Heavyweight title, like, oh, it has this great lineage. But if you think about it, it was only brought out of retirement because Roman had to. You booked yourself into a corner where Brock had 2 belts.
I mean, to be fair, they should have
Roman
never
had 2
retired that
belts.
belt in the first place. They
Yeah.
should have
Yeah.
brought it back instead of that stupid Universal title.
Yeah.
There
The
you
strawberry
go.
jelly title.
Strawberry.
Yeah,
That's what people
the
call
red
it.
strap and then the blue
blue.
strap and then it was
Would
Because
you like
naturally-
strawberry or blueberry?
it wasn't good.
Because then I think it made it worse when I feel like Roman getting sick was one of the things that changed it. If Roman never got sick during day 1, we would have had 2 titles. It wouldn't have been the fucking Roman would never been double champion. He would have just been universal champion.
Yeah, because they
So
wouldn't
this
have the
story would have
unification for it.
Yeah, this story might have changed like drastically if Roman didn't get sick.
Yeah. I mean, I'm glad that they unified it to bring back the world heavyweight title as opposed to having that goddamn thing. I mean, to be fair, I do think Triple H probably would have retired the Universal anyway, kind of like what they did with the SmackDown or Raw, whichever one they ended up retiring for the
Both.
World Heavyweight. Well, yeah, but I mean they specifically retired
SmackDown.
the SmackDown one for the World Heavyweight because the Raw champion had the SmackDown title and the SmackDown champion had the Raw title, whatever.
Yeah.
But I'm just happy that the Universal title is gone. I think it was dumb. I think it was a stupid name. I think, I think I remember Shane and Brian making fun of it and calling it the Galaxy. They were going to unveil their Galaxy title or whatever it was. And I'm like, yeah, because it sounds dumb. Like it
He's a
sounds.
champion of the universe.
Yeah.
The solar system champion.
Yeah. And then
But
the undercard guys, instead of the Intercontinental Championship, will have the Neptune champion and the Mars champion and the what are we doing here?
Jupiter champion. What about the
Right.
Uranus
That sounds,
champion?
yeah. Who gets the Uranus?
Who wants to be the
championship?
Uranus champion?
Dominic Mysterio.
Vince McMahon.
Oh,
Oh.
yeah.
Sorry. But
Him and
this
Brock
song-
just shitting on things in more
Jesus.
ways than one, man. It's rough. It's just not,
Speaking of shit in the bed in situations, this has been a big build up to the fact that Cody Rhodes
Sounds like a poop joke.
supposedly would no longer finish the story at WrestleMania versus Roman
Yeah,
Reigns.
so we did allude to it and we didn't actually go into detail
Yeah.
for it.
We're just
leading
off
to
script,
the
guys.
most,
It's fine.
Yeah,
Just go.
disliked YouTube
cares?
video in WWE history
Yeah.
and counting. They re-uploaded. They made another video,
Let's try again.
and I have seen nothing on. I've seen nothing but Reddit saying, "Hey, new mission acquired."
Hold on, let's see
Of
here.
disliking that one and making that.
What
one
are
newest.
what are we up to? I'm gonna.
Last time I checked, it was like 50,000.
Yeah, I'm gonna. Oh, that's not the right video.
Dummy. Yeah.
Terrible. It's just terrible.
But yeah, no. This seems more like the politics of, hey, this guy is now part of the board of directors of TKO. We'll bring this up. His daughter is now general manager, even though she can't work and she can't really talk. She'll get better, but she will
Eventually.
in experience.
I think she'll get better.
Hey, can't really falter there. But
No.
then Dwayne The Rock Johnson in a move straight from 2013, 2014 when CM Punk was champion.
No, if you watched Young Rock, it's straight from 19.
They're not talking about Young Rock. That's what I got.
It's almost like this might have been planned for a while.
I mean, so the thing is, it has been planned for.
Yeah.
I
Posted
said
in
to you
Hollywood.
guys in the messages, yeah, it probably was supposed to happen last year. Things just didn't line up. I'm all for this match, in a sense, right? I'm excited for the match. I don't think this match needs a title. I think
I agree.
I think their storyline is bigger than that. Because you could even kick it off by Rock saying what he said in that promo about being the head of the table, and then turning around and costing Roman the title, like Roman's done to so many other people, and then have that hit ahead. I think I posted on Twitter, and I might have said it to you guys before, but like if you really wanted to like have it go that way, you could have had Rock cost Roman the title at Rumble and have Randy win it, and have Randy and Cody fight for the title at Mania, because then at least Cody has another person that has like a personal tie to him. I don't think him winning it from Randy, dampens him finishing the story. I mean, obviously getting screwed by Roman at Mania and then doing it that way, I get it, but the ultimate finish the story never really had anything to do with Roman specifically originally. It was just about winning the title.
Yeah, but I think they wrote themselves into a corner where it had to be Roman. It was the law, and then he was on Raw, so then Roman's on SmackDown, and then Jay and Cody win the title, tag title, and the first thing he does when he's on SmackDown, stare down Roman,
face off with Roman. Yeah, and listen, they've been building it, and like it is long-term storytelling. Like he is talking about taking everything away from him. He took Jay away from him. He got that whole I mean, technically, Sammy blew that up, but like he did.
Assisted.
He took Jay and put him on Raw. That was the whole thing. Like Cody pulled strings and got him to Raw. Yada yada yada.
When he should have just put himself on SmackDown and just challenged for the fucking belt.
Well, I mean, if you're saving it for Mania, right? Because now we're talking. What was it? July?
Yeah.
Or well, end of July because SummerSlam was in July this year, and it happened right after SummerSlam. Because then Jimmy came and did the whole.
I still say the whole make it Roman and Rock at Elimination Chamber, make into a squash match, because people. I'm not saying specifically you, but a lot of people who want this match are thinking about it from a spectacle standpoint and like a name. It's like, oh, it's The Rock coming back to wrestle Roman. Not this is a 51-year-old man who can't wrestle.
Yeah, no,
A mediocre wrestler.
I'm in no way saying that this is gonna like blow the roof off of the building. I just think storyline wise, it's a good story, right? It's The Rock who is, when you're talking about the head of the table of that family, you forget that Rock is still there. Rock has reached those heights before, and now obviously he can be like, I'm the Hollywood guy, and I'm also a board member in the company that does whatever. So really, the head of the table would technically be him. Like that whole thing plays off well. Are they gonna have an amazing catch can style match? No. Are they gonna do 800 flips and kick out at one and Hulk up? No, they're not gonna do that. Are they gonna go through a table in the Tokyo Dome? No, they're not gonna do that. Are they gonna have like an amazing match? No. I think story wise is what people are looking for, and it is a spectacle, right? Because it's two really big names that at this point, I mean, if things go the way they look like they're gonna go, they're absolutely getting the WrestleMania 20 Brock and Goldberg experience. That's what's gonna happen. They're gonna move both of these guys out of the building because nobody wants to see this match at the expense of Cody.
Yeah.
I think timing wise, the match would be great if it didn't screw Cody in the process. I don't think anybody was upset that The Rock is back. I think it's the circumstances in which The Rock came back to do it.
Yeah.
Can he work amazingly? No. Did him and Cena have a pretty good match and then have, obviously he got hurt midway through the second match and it kind of threw things for a loop. Yeah, I think both of those matches were fine.
Yeah. No, I mean,
because that was his last match.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, it was the Cena match when he tore his groin.
Yep.
So like, it was a fine match despite him getting hurt. It is what
Actually,
it is.
his last match was against the Wyatt family.
Oh, well, yeah, against Eric Rowan. Yeah.
That
I forgot.
no one
I
likes
forget
to talk
about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I keep seeing, and I don't know if you've seen this with the new game coming out. They've added the special guest referee back.
Yeah.
And they're speculating. They're like, oh, hey, like this coincides. They're going to let Rock be like the special guest referee in one of these matches. And he'll not screw, but even the playing field where, it actually has to be a one-on-one kind of match. And
I mean, again, they technically haven't they haven't specifically stated that Rock is challenging Roman. What they could possibly do is have like Punk try to talk some sense into Cody, kind of like Edge did to Cena back like years ago.
Yeah.
When Cena was like, "Oh, I don't care about blah blah," and then Edge was like, running his mouth, but like also like trying to hype him up and be like, "No, you got to do this. Like, this is this, that, and the third." I think that would be fine. Cody trying to step aside and do the thing he thinks is right, but then turns around and whatever, like however they got to do it, but they can't. It's going to be such a disaster.
Well, sorry, because I almost and I saw this. I meant to say something about it, but I misread it when I read it the first time. As Adam Pearce posted yesterday, I think it was, that they had made it official that Rock and Roman Reigns are set for an iconic face-off at WrestleMania. Like, oh, it's a kickoff show.
At the press conference.
Yeah, I was like, oh, okay. Yeah. Well, shit, I thought it was like,
okay. Just to double check this, went to the WWE website, right?
Mhm.
And this is how they describe the Rock and Roman face off. Cody Rhodes made the shocking decision choosing not to face Roman Reigns at WrestleMania, allowing The Rock to step up to the tribal chief. Those are their words.
Yeah, I mean, they, like I said, they have implied it.
But this is them outright saying Cody Rhodes is choosing not to fight Roman at WrestleMania,
Yeah.
but letting Rock face him.
To be fair, it's not said on television. Not everybody's looking at their website for their stories. But I think even just writing that as an article, they still have a chance to misdirect it. I
Yeah.
still think they have a chance until they're, it's not official until the contract signing and all that nonsense, right? On TV. So there's still time for this, it's fresh in our brains and we're all upset about it. And I understand everybody's frustrated. I think some of the stuff is a little obnoxious. I think some of the posts that I've seen on Twitter are a little outrageous. I think wishing death on The Rock is a little stupid.
Oh yeah.
I think wishing death on Triple H for creative is a little stupid. I think all of these things, like,
if you're the kind of guy to do that, to wish death on people because you don't like a storyline, that's small dick energy, man.
It's the dumbest thing you could do. I think I think there's still plenty of time between now and even Elimination Chamber and then Rumble Mania, that a lot of things can play out differently. I mean, there was literally people like hoping that The Rock gets like maimed essentially and like hurt and tears something and like, oh, it's going to be the best thing that could ever happen to us. And I'm like, again, you're wishing somebody pain and suffering
for a show,
for a storyline. Like it's
yeah.
Am I happy with it? No. Am I going to support it? I mean, I'm going to watch it. I'm not going to love it. You know, if that ends up being the case, like I said, I want this match. I just don't want it in this scenario.
Yeah.
I don't. This wasn't what I was hoping for when I heard reports of like Rock and Roman, and I'm like, oh my god, that sounds great. The story's there. It's great. Both of those guys are great at telling stories. The promos alone would be fantastic. I mean, obviously Roman has been on a roll.
Yeah.
With promos. It's WrestleMania season, so we're going to see him more, which makes me remember how much I enjoy having him there, and then kind of sucks when he's not there. And again, I said to you too earlier, we don't know how much Roman's got left. Like, we don't know how much longer he's going to be around, if health issues might impact him again, if he ends up just going to Hollywood, if he ends up to just, he hangs it up altogether. I mean, I think he'll end up in Hollywood if he does hang it up anyway. But
yeah,
and he does the Rock / Cena thing where he comes back every once in a while for something, big marquee kind of thing. I think that explains a lot of why he's not there as much. Leukemia is not a joke. Like,
yeah.
That. Not saying it's come back, but obviously, like, you always run that risk of something happening.
Any point.
So, there's time to see. I'll play devil's advocate for now. Doesn't mean, like, I fully stand by the fact that, like, if we come back in a couple of weeks and shit is still the same, yeah, I'm not going to be happy. I'm not going to be like, oh, well, I just kind of said, no, I'm going to play devil's advocate for now and hope for the best.
Just let it play out.
Yeah.
It's only been 2 days as of this recording.
I'm curious what we'll find out this week in regards to it with
we'll see what happens.
Raw and SmackDown.
Technically tomorrow, since Raw we're recording
when
on
you're watching
Sunday.
This, when this goes live tomorrow.
I think Thursday, because now they're just doing the random bull rope match with Nakamura and Cody. I still think that's weird.
I forgot about that storyline.
I thought they finished that up. So it's just kind of there.
Yeah.
Gotta give him something to do until the.
Either Cody was legitimately devastated, or he's been really good at acting devastated, because he did not look happy to give his spot to The Rock, as they said. Um, even that whole, and that's the other thing. Like his face, he left the ring. He looked back at him. The Rock kind of stared him down before he went back through the back. Like he turned around and like looked again. Like I don't know. To me, it seems like they're definitely setting something up.
Yeah.
Let's
No.
hope. Let's hope that that's
Yeah.
the case.
This is like one of the few times where he didn't interact with the fans. It's like he kind of gave like a little bit of high fives and then he just walked.
Yeah, he noticed he almost walked by them, noticed that they had their hands out, hit the one guy's hand, and then just kept it moving.
Yeah, like oh man, I'm trying. Forgot. Still have to be nice about this, and then
I'm not a heel. I'm not a heel. I'm not a heel.
Yeah.
heel Cody Rhodes would just hit different.
Yeah.
Whoa, there goes Cody.
Yeah, bring back Smoke and Mirrors if you're gonna turn heel. You can't have that same.
Smoking mirror.
Yes, you still do Kingdom.
Nah.
Still
nah.
fucking, still great. I'm sorry. You
Bring back Smoke and Mirrors, but it's John Cena singing.
No.
Yeah.
Cody Rhodes and TNA using Kingdom was
Yeah.
different. It hit different. Here's $20. It's 10 more than what they were gonna pay you.
Oh, that was to Brandy Lauren, wasn't it? That was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That Cody Rhodes. I need that one back.
I'm all for that. If he becomes like a total dick after finishing the story, and like is just an asshole,
He
I'm
turns
for
into
it.
MJF.
It's
Yeah.
the new story
No.
of Rhodes.
Speaking of AEW, I saw a funny clip of them bringing back Arn Anderson, the Glock promo,
Oh my god.
where it's basically telling Cody like, "Hey, if someone would have stuck you up, you would have just said, take it, just don't hurt me." That's basically you to the Rock. Take
Right.
my spot, just don't hurt me. Well, Arn would have pulled out the Glock and splattered the Rock all over the concrete. Yeah, that's
Pull it out the clock and splatter the Rock.
I thought about that one time while driving. That's gonna go into the quotes.
Speaking of AEW, can we talk about the fact that the Young Bucks were only gone for like 2 weeks and then came back like it was this big momentous return? Like, oh my God, we didn't see that coming. They were gone for so long, and it was like they were gone for like 2 weeks. Was it
Yeah.
like 3 weeks, maybe?
Like a
Whatever.
month.
I don't even think it was a month, to be
But I
fair.
think they're only coming back. I feel like them being gone longer would have happened, but I think because Sting picked them for the final match, his
Right.
career, that's what made them.
Yeah, but they could have came back, did that match, and then
They might,
did
but now it feels like they're getting the belt because
uh-huh.
there's a whole thing of Darby and Sting going for tag gold.
Right.
So they might get the belts, dropping belts to the Young Bucks, and then the Young Bucks drop it to another team, and then that's when they leave again.
Yeah.
So,
I'm okay if they leave.
Well, don't you know that Aleister Black and Buddy Murphy are going to come back to WWE because they're not being used at AEW?
Okay,
they don't. They and it's crazy to me, like, because he's such like a supposed huge source of like valuable information when it comes to AEW, and he's like, yeah, those guys are leaving, and I'm like, isn't Malachi Black's contract until like 2027 or some shit like that, or like, so
Early
when is
release.
he leaving?
Early
Like,
release.
we're still 3 years out from his contract.
because he
Like,
just signed the extension.
right.
But
So like,
I get like those two being, I get those two wanting to leave because
Rhea
they're
and
married, Rhea and Zelina.
Selena. Yeah. I get it. It's the same reason why I didn't fault Adam Cole for coming to AEW, because Britt was there. Like,
Yeah,
you want to work in the company with your wife, if obviously that's something that works. Like, I love my wife, but I don't think we could work together, right? Like, that's just not for me. Me and my wife work really well because we don't work together, because we
Especially
used to work together.
especially
That's
if your
how we
wife
met.
was dating Dominic Mysterio.
Right. Well, that doesn't help. But
hey, look, tit for tat. Never forget that Buddy Matthews kissed Aaliyah Mysterio.
Yeah.
Payback.
So Dom's getting them back. Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. It's one big circle.
Listen, long-term story.
It's one big swinging circle.
But also, like, yeah, the whole thing of like they don't they're not doing the job or whatever, but like Buddy even responded to like a generic like AEW fan account and was like, "Yeah, so much for that." And he posted like his own win-loss record.
I think that was someone reposting Dave though.
Yeah,
He posted like his like
they posted Dave's
journalism, right?
sound clip of it. Yeah, and he was like, "Oh yeah, something." He called him out for his journalism, and then like posted his win-loss record, and it was like 2-9 or something like that, or whatever it was. And it's like, not doing the job. Like, the guy's 2-9. Like, well, yeah, what? I don't know where this like whole thing started, but it's been running like it's the same thing. Miro, they said the same thing about Miro, and like it's, don't get me wrong, I'm sure it's possible because he was gone for a while because like I guess he didn't like his creative. That was the rumor that was spread. He didn't like his creative and he didn't want to do the job, so he just decided to not be on TV or whatever. And I'm like, but he also just like filmed a movie in that time frame while he was gone too. I'm like, so I think that's really what it was. And then we just made up some like weird narrative of like, oh, these WWE guys come in and they don't want to do the job, even though they were doing the job for Vince like all the time. And I'm like,
doesn't matter if the news was accurate, just as long as you sent it out first.
right. Well, that's funny enough. I don't know if you know this, but that's a Denzel quote. Like Denzel said something about that. I remember seeing it, and I loved it because it reigns true. Like we want to be the first one to report something that we don't care that the truth is in there or not. Like we just want to be able to report it.
Yep.
And get the 5 seconds of like notoriety for reporting it first. But like, wouldn't you rather it just be accurate? Like, you need some integrity with this kind of stuff. Like, that's why, like, you know, hey, whatever. We're sitting here and going with the whole Vince stuff, like allegedly, right? Because we
don't know.
We're not legal experts. We're not in on the proceedings. We don't know. We don't have the proof in front of us. And yeah, you could sit here and text messages and all that stuff, and like a lot of that stuff could either be doctored or be true. Like I'm not saying he didn't do it, but I can't legally say that he absolutely did it.
Yeah, and it comes out if he does. Well, I mean, you'll absolutely see us on the podcast go, yeah, this dude's a piece of shit. You know, this is, but it's 2024. So, you know, you never know. Statement,
right? If he did the things he's accused of, he's a piece of shit. If he didn't do the things he's accused of, I hope that they can prove that he didn't do it. If that's the case.
Innocent till proven guilty. Like, you know, it's
you know, we have to be realistic about things. Like I'd much rather know it late than know it wrong first, and then because then it's so hard to be like, no, I saw like 2 days ago that this was the case. There's no fucking way that that's true, and then it's like, well. Now you have a hard time because it's just like, well, I saw it this way.
Well, you lose your credibility as well.
Right.
I mean, that's.
But also, like, you get the people that are like, well, I want this to be true, so I'm going to run with what they said. And now you're just coming out to be contrarian, and it's like not even a. It's so dumb.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting as far as it's to come. So yeah, we did touch on it with Rhodes' whole story between Rollins and whatnot.
And I thought Rollins had a good promo about that. Yeah. I thought, like, you know, he almost like made me go, if I didn't see the match 3 times already and he didn't beat him with a torn pec in a Hell in a Cell match, I would be like, you know what? It's really not a bad match.
Yeah.
Like, because you know they can put on a good show, but like you already saw that match 3 times, and Cody won all 3 times. So then Cody's gonna win a 4th time, and then Seth is. What?
Yeah. No, and I think I said something similar to you. So you know, like as cool as that would be, we've seen it already, and we know the outcome.
Yeah.
Of course, Punk being hurt,
the ultimate swerve, and then Seth goes over, and then it's
Yeah. I do think Punk being hurt is really throwing a curve, obviously, because I'm sure that was the long-term plan.
Right.
You know, was to have Punk and probably Rollins do their thing.
Yep.
And I do hate that for him. If he ends up having to miss WrestleMania, I do hate that. I know there was a bunch of people that kind of relished in it, kind of like you said with the whole Rock shit, where it's, you know, I never want these guys, even if I don't like these guys, I don't want these guys to get hurt, you know, especially something that can be permanent.
The only person I'm super okay with posting anything about relishing in the fact that he's hurt is Drew McIntyre, because I think what he's been doing for the past like 2 weeks has been
Best heel work.
phenomenal. I
Fucking
Dude,
It's been
tricep curls.
so
That's what
great.
shit.
Yeah.
playing Dreams and Nightmares by Meek Mill. Wow.
Doing
Jesus.
triceps and stuff. Yeah. It was
His
amazing.
feet and drinking Prime, starting it off is funny.
Yeah.
I used to pray for nights like this.
Yeah.
Like he drink.
He has stepped up his social media game like fantastically in the last like couple of weeks.
If he doesn't get a spot on WrestleMania versus Seth Rollins, I don't know
See,
what they're
so
doing.
what I'm hoping for is that he ends up being the one that faces Rollins and wins.
No, I don't want him to win.
Finish the story
No, I don't want
He's
him to
gonna
win.
finish his story.
I
with the
I
chicken.
still want the heist of the century. I still say,
Damien.
yep. Damien cashes in on the match, make it a triple threat match, and he beats Rollins
I'd be okay with that too.
because they still have been building Drew versus Priest
Yeah.
Yes.
because he's been stopping him cashing in all this time.
Yeah. So what better way than to? Well, I mean, he did cost him the title match because he interfered and made it look like he was going to cash in, and it threw everything off. Yeah,
And he finally does cash in when it's just them, and he's about to win. He does the Claymore. Fucking someone pulls him out the ring, or pulls the ref out the ring,
yeah.
and then you just have Priest cash in, and that's
Yeah.
how you end night one.
I'd be fine with that too. I think that would be a good, because the way they're building Priest right now is kind of a powerhouse.
I just want to get this Priest run out of the way because I feel like he's not going to be interesting enough to carry as a champion.
Probably not.
It depends on what they do with him. I think there's a shot that it could go well.
I don't know. I
know
feel like
they're
their
teasing.
tag run's been kind of boring, you know.
Yeah, I mean, there's
Besides
not
Truth.
a lot going on. Yeah, there's not a lot going on with the tag, and they need to fix that too, and they need to step that up with the tag division. I mean, really, right now, your main players on Raw are DIY and Imperium.
Yeah.
You still have the Creed brothers.
Creed
hanging around.
Brothers. Technically, you
Yeah.
have Alpha Academy.
Alpha Academy.
Which I was surprised neither one of them made a Rumble appearance. Was Otis in it?
was in there.
Yeah.
See, I don't even remember Otis being in it. I guess it wasn't.
Yeah, Gable wasn't in it, but Otis was.
See, I'm surprised Gable didn't. That's
'Cause they
another
had
one
all
they pushed the shit out of, and now all of a sudden they don't give a fuck about Gable now.
Well,
that's the Triple H method.
I still think there's time for him to go against Gunther if they end up doing that.
Perk Kurt, gotta get him on his Perk Kurt level.
Yeah. Yeah, I just obviously we don't know everything yet, and they still have to build for Elimination Chamber. So
When
we'll
is
see.
Elimination Chamber?
That's a great question. Hold
It's
on.
February, end of February.
Elimination Chamber 2024.
I should know this.
February 24th.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now it's gonna be on local time, so I think for us it's gonna be like in the morning.
Fuck.
AKA, we're all just watching it later in the day.
Probably
No
just
one's watching it
staying
live.
staying off Twitter and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's gonna be a disaster.
But yeah, it's.
I mean, I know no matter what happens, Rhea's gonna main event and win her match, but you know.
versus Nia.
I'll say yeah, because they're
Are
definitely
they doing? Yeah, they're doing Nia.
That's what it
They're probably-
seems.
And they'll do
Definitely
Becky
do.
for Mania.
Yep.
So what would they have, a women's chamber of #1 contender chamber?
I would say so.
Probably.
Oh.
They might do the same for Rollins. I think that was the original plan, was have Cody win and then have Punk win the chamber to challenge for Rollins at Mania. I think that was the original plan. They might move some things around with whatever's happening. And then have...
Wait, dickhead, you're in the shot.
Yeah. Or they could do something intercontinental based or U.S. title based and have...
I don't think Gunther can make it, though.
No, that's what I'm saying. Have it like to challenge for the IC title at Mania, or have it to challenge for the US title at Mania, and have like presumably, I think we all kind of think it's gonna end up being LA Knight versus Logan Paul for the title at Mania for US.
Yeah.
I feel like Logan might be. I feel like Logan Paul might be at Elimination Chamber.
He might be. Shout out to him, by the way, for posting We Want Cody.
Everyone did.
Yeah, I thought that was fun.
Bold move though. I like it.
Nah. As much as I want to give Logan Paul credit, I don't. The first reply should be, "We want our refunds for CryptoZoo." But
got him.
Just say.
Hey, I will say one of his most recent podcasts he had Cena on.
Yeah.
It was actually really good. If you get a chance to watch it, you should check it out. It's pretty cool. He goes into like how he knows Mandarin and shit. It was like pretty cool.
Been chilling.
Been chilling. Yeah. I hated how that KO match went. It's funny, us three watching it, you could almost hear a collective sigh when he sees the knuckles.
I mean, they did an old school like Dusty type of finish.
Yeah.
KO didn't lose to him, like he didn't take the pin, but
stupidity.
Yeah. So it's like, okay, we can still eventually right that wrong. He doesn't lose credibility by losing to Logan Paul.
That ref did a damn good job. He did his job.
Right.
The first time we hate a ref doing his job.
I know, yeah, the one time.
Now you want to do it.
I think that's actually literally what you said when we watched it too. He's like, yeah, the one time the ref actually does this job.
Yeah.
It was an okay match. I wasn't a fan of the ending. Which I get it. It's like you said, he doesn't get pinned by Logan, so it doesn't,
Yeah, like it makes sense. You're trying to, keep him do whatever. So I have a question for you guys.
Yes.
Since we already did the Rumble predictions, because we figured that out, and we were mostly right. He wasn't. Onyx wasn't right. But who do you guys see? So like, what do you predict for WrestleMania in terms of besides? We won't talk about like Roman, Rock, Cody. So aside from that, what do we see for Gunther? What do we see for the U.S. title? What do we see for? I think we all kind of know the women's is going to be like Rhea and Becky. I mean, unless you guys think different, I think it's going to be Rhea, Becky, and Io, and obviously they already announced
Io and Bayley, which was a fantastic. I'm so glad that story came to fruition.
I love she pulled out the Japanese sentence just to be like, "Ha, I know."
I wish they didn't pull the trigger on
so quickly.
Yeah, it felt like it was instant. I get we've all known that, hey, there's something going on and they're gonna betray Bayley, but I feel like it was she won. She went to Monday. They didn't interact. It was basically she was gonna challenge Rhea, and then Nia just screwed it up by coming out and attacking Rhea. So it wasn't even Io and them plotting on. It was just bad timing.
I mean, they've been kind of giving her the shit end of the stick for months now anyway, and like the whole laughing behind her back and da 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 da. Like, it's been playing out, but I do agree. I think they just kind of did it a little too fast. Like you could have milked it. You could have done whatever.
Because they should be scared that the fact that Bayley could challenge Io.
Right.
It's like,
and
hey, her
get
being
some more
nice,
tension
saying,
there.
Yeah, I'm challenging Rhea, but every Monday, like at least 2 more weeks of Monday, every time she goes to challenge Rhea, something happens.
Also, I said the joke to Olos about it, but I almost kind of wish they did it this way. It was similar to like the Batista going to SmackDown or Raw.
That's essentially what they were trying to do without
quicker. They did it in a way quicker.
They kind of sped it up. Also, I'm going to say something unpopular here, but since she's come back, Nia's actually been pretty good.
I choose to.
You just don't like big women.
You just don't like women. No,
that's me.
I don't like Nia.
No, and I don't like Nia either, but I think since she's come back, she's looked better. She hasn't been as sloppy.
No one's gotten injured yet.
Yeah. So like, except for like Raquel. No, but she actually has like health issues, so that's
Yeah.
She has
you know.
a skin disease.
Yeah, she's been having. I forget what it was called, but I saw pictures of her. She like broke out in like hives or whatever it was, and like
Yeah.
different things. So like, yeah, she's hopefully she gets better soon. Um, but yeah, no, I just wanted to throw that out there. I was noticing it, and obviously she still gets all the hate she normally gets. But like looking at her, like her work hasn't been. I mean, she's never going to be like a top of the line worker, but like she's looked a lot cleaner, crisper. Like she doesn't
Missing
look as
ropes.
yeah, she's not doing as bad as she was on her first run. So I will give her that credit. As much as I still don't necessarily care for her, I do think she's doing a pretty good job in the spot that she's in. Um, but yeah, so where do you guys where are you guys seeing tag, US, Intercontinental, any other just non-title feuds?
I mean, I definitely feel like they're setting up Awesome Truth and Judgment Day.
Mhm.
Who
Now,
asked
whether or
for
not I'm not against it. I don't, mainly because I don't, other than DIY, there's not like a tag team I'd care enough to see kind of a back and forth with.
this? Give it to the Creeds.
It's just, it's depending if they
Separate.
pull the trigger on the tag match at Chamber or if they set it up for Mania. As of right now, I don't see a secondary team besides DIY, so I'm gonna assume it's gonna be Awesome Truth and them at Mania. Because that's the only tag team I could think of. Which I guess they did just have what, Pete Dunne and
Tyler Bates.
are the new number one contenders.
Yes.
I mean, so that could turn into something. I wouldn't be against that, to kind of have him have his fall from grace and then a push to a title reign with Bates.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of SmackDown tag teams. Well, not a
You know,
lot.
damn
But, I mean,
well, LW. It's gonna be LWO and Ray versus how do you say their fucking name?
Legado del
Legado del
Fantasma.
Yeah, that. I guarantee that's gonna be a Mania match.
Probably, and hopefully it'll be done at that point.
I hope. I would like to see where Andrade's gonna fit with him coming back.
He signed to Raw,
Yeah.
which I called. I want to
He-
throw that out there because I am happy that they're not involving him in
In
that
Charlotte.
already over-polluted nonsense of the LWO, Carlito, Santos, Legado del Fantasma. Like, I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Let it
it's
be his
already
own
too
entity.
much. We've added so many other pieces that we didn't need to add.
I do joke though with LWO. I thought they put on a good show with Mello and Trick.
They're not bad, dude. Like,
No,
they're
it
not,
was. I was like, man, like if they just would let them win a fucking match.
They have the personality of wet cardboard.
right.
That's the
Well,
problem.
But that's
it's-
what. So the thing with that was when in NXT originally, Santos was the headpiece, and it made them more interesting because at least he was the centerpiece.
He
of
was
that.
the talker.
No, they were goons. They were certified goons for him.
And that's what I mean. Like they were his goons. They were, they
At
were
that point-
legit in that sense because the main guy was a guy like a top guy for NXT at that point
Yeah.
to an extent. Him separating away and Ray not really like it's rough. Like you're relying on two guys who were set up to be goons originally to be more than that, and like Zelina can only do so much for you.
Yeah.
Carlito is kind of out of place there, and I was happy he came back, but like he hasn't really done much. It was fine to get him involved like as he came back to like be that, but now it's just like now he's a part of it and Ray's not and and it's like, all right, when do we move on from this?
Yeah.
Right? Like we don't need to drag this on for 8 months, 9 months. It's the same thing we said about the Judgment Day, Cody, Rollins,
Sami Zayn and
yeah. Like it's okay to move away from it.
I wouldn't be surprised if you see a Jimmy J WrestleMania match. I think the Rumble was kind of a hint to that.
I know they want it,
Yeah.
and I'd be fine with that.
I think that's a good, storyline to push, even with them being on separate brands.
You could do that on night 1, and then they kind of realize they need to like not fight each other anymore after Jay probably beats Jimmy, since Jimmy cost him the title.
Yeah.
And then that gets Jimmy out of the interference, and you know what I mean? So then it just leaves some way to break down Solo from walking away from Roman, because at this point Roman needs to be on his own for a
Yeah.
match.
Or be gone for a bit. Not like in a bad way, just like to kind of take a break. You know.
He needs to die. No, but like that's how it sounded when you were like, he just needs to be gone.
No, I tried to clarify that. I was like, oh, it kind of sounded a little harsh when I said that.
How's that leukemia doing?
Well,
no, like that's.
But Gunther's the one I'm not sure about. I guess that inherently depends on who they put in or who they set up for the Elimination Chamber.
Who did we say? We were talking earlier about
It's Braun.
Yeah, Braun Breaker.
Yeah, Braun would be a good one. I imagine, trying to think of Elimination Chamber who they would throw in there. So Braun probably. Maybe Chad Gable, although he's not really been active lately, so I don't know if he's injured or if they're just not putting him in matches right now.
I don't know.
Apologize if you can hear my dog. Thanks, sir. Yeah, I just can't think of a lot of people. I mean, I guess Kobe maybe, if you want to throw him back in just to have a body in Elimination Chamber.
Sure.
I'm trying to think who from Raw you would throw in. I mean, I guess you could put Andrade in an Elimination Chamber. I mean, that'd be a kind of a heavy match to throw him in immediately, but
have him come back and immediately like lose.
Would kind of be weird. But it's not out of.
No, it wouldn't.
Not out of their realm.
Nothing surprises me, but the Rock thing surprised me, but not the fact that he was there, because I heard that he was there, but the way they just did that surprised me.
Yeah.
But no, yeah. It wouldn't shock me if he came back and lost, but I don't think they would, because he's always been a Triple H guy. So like, I think that Triple H will try and take care of Andrade. I think, at least.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I think Logan Paul is obviously going to be the U.S. run for it. I think that is the inevitable.
Makes sense.
Realm of things. Not to say that I don't see LA Knight going back for like top tier gold anytime. You know, I think if Roman drops it, you can obviously, you'll see a lot more. Hopefully, you'll see that title be defended quite a bit more against other talent, except once every 2 months.
Yeah, but I'm okay giving LA. I'm okay giving Knight the mid card title in the like before he gets like the big title.
Yeah, it's the Dragunov, or not Dragunov. I was looking at my NXT notes. The Gunther ones, I'm not sure, because I've really, they're only doing the Kofi Kingston New Day thing right now, and so I'm curious. I guess Braun would be, the best choice if that's the route they go.
Okay.
Oh. What about you, Porto?
I see the Elimination Chamber for Gunther's being Andrade, Dominic, Braun, Kofi, Gable, and then trying to think of a sixth person.
Yeah.
Kind of hard because the roster feels so like.
I can only think like Jay, maybe Sammy.
Yes, actually Jay. Switch out Andrade with Sammy.
Yeah, do a Jay Sammy. Yeah, so, that would be. I think that actually would be a relatively good chamber too, because you got quite a variety of styles there and talents.
Yeah. With Braun picking up the win, going to Mania.
If Braun's in it, I need him smashing through one of the cages to get to somebody. I don't care who it is, just somebody.
I got him putting Sammy through a pod.
Yeah, it would be Sammy. I'd say it'd be Sammy or it'd be Gable that he would absolutely just, because I could see like almost him and Gable kind of having a strength off.
Yeah.
And him absolutely just throwing Gable through a pod.
Yeah. I see him trying to suplex Braun through a pod, and then Braun just breaks out and spears the shit out of him for his troubles. But honestly, most of the matches are the same as you said. I don't want to, but I just don't. I know it's gonna be Awesome Truth versus the Judgment Day night 1 to set up him losing the tag titles, to set up him cashing in later that night.
Yeah, because you got to think if he's gonna cash in Mania, he's got to lose.
No, because he could be just like
he
said history and be like the Miz, who held 3 titles. Remember, the Miz is the first and only person in WWE to hold 3 championships at one time.
That's true.
The U.S. title and the tags.
Does that count as 3 though?
I count it. It was
I feel like belts. I feel like he's only one.
He physically had 3 belts at all times. It wasn't like Roman where they gave him a separate belt.
And then he just still carried the other 2. Like the other belts were
carcasses.
Undisputed tag.
It's what made it the It's what made the new belt the undisputed, because he claimed both of them as his.
I still think they got to separate the tag belts at some point.
I want that. I say at the Mania they finally split it,
because it's just there's too many teams right now for there not to be 2 separate belts.
Yeah.
Yeah, then of course, God knows what they're gonna do with the Cody Rock and Roman and Rollins.
Yeah, that's why I didn't want to.
Yeah, so
because it's just so diluted.
It's all going to be speculation of But here's the thing: so Gunther Braun, does Gunther retain?
No.
Give Braun an Intercontinental.
Let him run with it, and then what's the pay-per-view in Berlin? I don't remember what it.
That's what it's called.
When is it? Is it October?
I feel like it's supposed to take I feel like it's taking the place of Backlash.
Oh, are they gonna go international in February and then go international again in May?
No, Bash at Berlin is August.
August, okay.
Because Backlash is in France this year.
Oh, they are doing international, but I forgot that they were doing Backlash in France.
So I guess what is Backlash is going to be an international show? I guess I'm here out because wasn't it Puerto Rico last year?
It seems like they're doing, because it's in the same it's the same weekend as All Out. All In.
Oh jeez.
Or they're planning something that's like right near All In.
You're talking about the Bash.
Yeah. No, Backlash.
Yeah.
Somewhat in.
No, Backlash is in May. All Out is in August. Right? Am I crazy? Because they did All In, All Out, and
you're right.
But you're all in
like a week apart or whatever it was, right? Yeah.
All in and then shake it all out.
Because All In is 25th of August.
Yeah.
And Berlin is the 31st of August.
So the following week.
Yep.
Oh no! I just thought of this because I was looking at. I would be curious to see if they continue the Hurt Business carrying cross Angle to Mania.
Fucking kill it with.
I don't know that they would go.
At least Chamber, right? I mean, it's gonna at least be Chamber.
Yeah, and that at least makes sense. I don't know that it goes beyond that.
I want to like it. I really want to like carrying head of the whatever their fucking AOP.
Yeah.
There's something about it that seems off to me. And what's bad is I like carrying at least him outside of that character because he is a funny guy. I just think
ring.
he's a bit boring.
He is mid.
But the story with him was what I enjoyed. We talked about this once upon a time that it was kind of like the Fiend storyline. So everybody he interacted with ended up going
To the
heel
dark
pretty
side.
much. So like
AJ,
AJ
Roman,
Nakamura, Roman, somebody else. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it was one of those things. It was the same thing that like was happening with the Fiend originally when he interacted with
Brian.
Balor was the first one, and then Balor went to NXT when he came back from his honeymoon and turned on DIY. And then Brian, and he did all of that with the Earth's champion and all that stuff.
Universal Earth Champion.
Braun,
Braun,
Randy.
somebody else, Rollins, technically.
Yep.
Because after he lost the title, that's when he did the Monday Night Messiah thing and AOP.
Oh yeah, that's right. It was AOP that he was.
Yeah. AOP are still scammers to this day, and Karrion Cross has never been the same since Adam Cole little broed him the same way Roman Reigns did. Yeah. You got the lights, you got the fog machine, you got the pretty girl, you got the music. This company has done everything everything they can do to make you feel special. You know what they do to make Adam Cole feel special? They ring the freaking bell. And that one promo has ruined Karrion Cross ever since.
I mean, I think that helmet and the weird like gay gladiator thing.
The gimp suit, yeah. No, even because Alex, you haven't watched Black and Gold NXT. This was like the bare end of Black and Gold NXT, where Adam Cole just little broed him, and ever since then, it really did point out that Karrion, he was NXT champion, but you cared about everybody else but him, because that you had Samoa Joe, Kyle O'Reilly, Adam Cole.
Right. Now the
Finn
problem with that
Balor.
again, I hearken that to the same thing as Rollins' title run. I don't think it's necessarily Rollins' fault, whereas I also don't think it's Karrion Cross's fault, because you're surrounded by guys that they want to see be champion. He's same thing with Rollins. Everybody for the most part, Rollins has faced,
especially gender.
especially gender. You don't hinder the gender.
Actually, Tony Khan is the reason why this is all happening.
Yes. Thank you, Tony Khan, for making Jinder a bigger star than he needed to be. I'm all for it.
Because he had that big
Finally making stars, just in the wrong company.
No, it actually does make sense.
Self-inflicted.
Because Tony Khan had that meltdown, they had a match that they felt like they needed to prove something, and that's what led Rollins to get injured.
Yeah.
That injury halted CM Punk winning the Royal Rumble.
Right.
Then he got hurt. It's all coming together.
Oh,
God damn you, Jungle Boy.
It's real glass.
Cry me a river. Anyway, I do think it's just like a circumstantial thing. And again, I mean, he could have overcome that had he not gone to the main roster and had that just god awful presentation. Same thing with Keith Lee, where he got that. What the hell was it? Bearcat.
Yep,
Keith Lee.
Bearcat Lee.
Oh my god! Not that he's been booked any better in AEW, unfortunately.
Yeah, he got hurt, so it's kind of.
Yeah, listen. There's still time. There's still hope.
Yeah.
But it's just not. It just hasn't been good.
I still think Karrion Cross is worse than Seth Rollins, because at least Seth Rollins, when the bell rings, you know you're gonna get a great match.
Sure.
When I've never seen a Karrion Cross match where I'm like, I want to see this. I have to. And Seth Rollins does have a specific charisma about him that makes you, even though you want to see everybody else win champion, you're okay with him still being champion. Karrion Cross, nobody wanted him to be champion. No one cared that he was champion. Everybody just wanted that belt off of him.
Well, it's bad because, like, I even just see.
Because Samoa Joe was the one who beat him and then got injured.
Yeah. And again, Joe, again, that's one of those, like, circumstantial, like, God damn it. Like, you got hurt at the worst possible times. Like, shit just didn't work out. And then it's like, well,
because that led to 2.0.
He's been booked like shit. And it's like, well, did it?
Because that led to Tommaso Ciampa. Tommaso Ciampa became NXT champion off that. Then that led to 2.0, where Braun Breaker beat him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's because I even watched like the start to like his entrance into that fight with Hurt Business. And I'm looking, I'm like, man, like this, they look good. Like this is a team that like I would want to like that, you know, bulldoze people, and it's just he's a bit boring. And I hate it for him.
Karrion Kross is all aesthetics. That's it. He passes the vibe check, but only based off aesthetic.
Yeah. But I don't think what else they could do for Mania. That would be good.
It's in Philly, so they had to do some ECW related thing.
Oh, I guess yeah.
Someone comes
Some
out,
street
starts
fight.
talking.
Tommy Dreamer.
No. I don't think WWE needs that kind of press.
I'm sure it'll be fine.
If you're gonna bring anybody, bring in RVD.
He
looked really good.
He's doing AEW, so they might not. But
I mean, I don't think it'll matter by the time Mania comes along. If he did he did what, 3 shows for AEW? Like,
yeah, Sabu.
They're not gonna do that.
The homicidal.
You just gotta bring Jinder Mahal. That's all it is.
No, you know who they really need. They need that ECW guy. They, for Philly, bring in Kevin Thorne. While you're at it, you can get Marcus Corvon, Elijah Burke, some really top like ECW guys.
Elijah Burke.
Yeah.
What was it? Who was it? Did an interview where they were like they hated working with him. Oh God. I think it might have been Punk actually. It was like, he was awful. and like somebody booed, he goes, oh look, we got the one Elijah Burke fan in the fucking film. It's like, God damn. Oh man. Do you all want to talk about, I mean, we're 2 hours in. Do you want to talk about Vengeance? It'd be mainly you guys saying, because I haven't watched it. So
no, because honestly I feel like it needs a rewatch because I was kind of distracted.
We were kind of like bullshitting while watching it.
Yeah,
I'm just making sure.
I will let NXT add on to that so we have more content between everything happen.
Okay.
I will say the thing that we've been waiting to happen happened.
Yeah. The turn we all saw coming.
Yeah.
Like NASCAR.
They
finally hit that left turn.
Right. And that's what I've been waiting for, folks. That's why I spend my hard-earned money on all that Dale Earnhardt Jr. stuff.
Trick.
Been waiting for that left turn.
Doing a left turn.
It only happened because Booker wasn't there to hype him up.
No, Ray Barrett was doing it in the tag team match.
Which I'm so happy about.
Bad news, Barrett.
I love that it's become a thing.
It's Jamon. Him doing the Michael Jackson song, like randomly, just so off pitch and just
Oh Lord!
But
they need for WWE 2K24. They need Booker to be a part of the like Trick Williams entrance.
Apparently not. They're not doing that.
I know, but
because people were complaining about Cody's that they're not like sing along, which I'm not against.
Really, all you need is the whoa.
They do, but given the fact that they did the whole thing for LA Knight, where they do the LA Knight, during his entrance, they could have just piped in some Kingdom, like the beginning of Kingdom, and just stop at whoa.
Yeah,
because you don't even have to do the lyrics; you have to do this simile, like similar enough.
Something, Cody Rhodes. Oh gosh, guys. All right, then. Well, that is where we are going to wrap up for the evening. I hope everybody is
something Cody Rhodes.
something Cody Rhodes.
Yeah.
I hope everybody has enjoyed. If you're watching this on Monday or any day after, feel free to like and subscribe to the new Cream of the Crop podcast channel that I worked really hard on. We will be back next week, as always, recording on Sunday. It'll go live on Monday. And as always,
we have missed you, by the way.
Yeah, we have missed you guys. It's like a abusive relationship. I just keep coming back. And on that note, we'll catch you guys on the other side of the ring. Good night.
Don't forget your NDAs.